Hello, everybody, and welcome to Curtis's Podcast Network. On this edition, the 43rd episode of this AFC South show. As always, I'm joined by Blake Bellamy. Blake, how you doing, bud?
Good, man. Shout out Troy Polamalu and Darren Sproles and Richard Petty, 43, son.
Oh, that's right, 4-3. Hell yeah. I'm your host, Curtis Brown. And today we're going to be getting into some interesting topics, overall draft grades for the AFC South, debate on whether or not those grades are fair, and we'll be getting those from NFL.com, of course. We'll be talking about how the Titans are going to look sans A.J. Brown. With the changing of the guard in Tennessee, does that give room for Colts to rise? And Lonnie Johnson was traded to the Kansas City Chiefs for a conditional 7th-round pick. So let's dive into A.J. Brown, Blake, our resident Titans fan. So how do you feel going into the season, knowing that Ryan Tannehill's favorite target over the last several years will not be in the same uniform as Ryan Tannehill?
Man, it's unfortunate. And I saw today A.J. Brown practicing in a Eagles uniform. And I must say, man, he looks kind of fly in green. And it sucks. Like, I do miss AJ. I love AJ. I got AJ Brown jersey, so it's gonna be hard wearing that again next year. But I think it's not gonna be so bad. So you gotta think, Ryan Tannehill, he struggled last year, but nobody played. AJ Brown and Julio Jones combined for like 80 something catches and like 1,700 yards or something like that, and I think 6 touchdowns. So like that's not that hard to match. Like I feel like Treylon Burks and Robert Woods can probably match that if we're going to be honest. So I think the hole is not going to be as big as everyone thinks. Everyone's like, yeah, you're trading away a proven player. But, you're also getting the A.J. Brown trade. So we trade A.J. Brown. We received really $25 million in cap the next few years. Treylon Burks and the tackle, whoever the tackle's got that.
Ohio State kid?
Yeah, the Ohio State kid. So, we got all of that for A.J. Brown, which I'm fine with it. Those are 2 potential starters and then a lot of money, which is free for, whoever we have to sign in the future, like Jeffrey Simmons, for instance.
Yeah. You do have some huge contracts coming up, and as you mentioned, it does alleviate some space for you. Big Jeff, Ryan Tannehill's in the final year of his contract, if I'm not mistaken.
Basically, there's an out next year where we can cut him, and it's no big deal.
Okay, yeah. So, essentially the final year, but that does mean that either Malik Willis is going to be the starting Q next year, or Ryan Tannehill will be brought back on a much cheaper, team-friendlier deal. Or I could see them moving on, but if you had to guess, would you say that Ryan Tannehill starts for the Titans in 2023?
I think if he plays well, he will. I think if he's trash, then no. I think Malik. If he's bad, that means the Titans are not going to be in playoff contention. That means I see Malik Willis finishing out the season. Even if he's bad, we'll know. See if we need to draft a quarterback next year. Because if things are bad, then we'll have a much better pick. And apparently, this draft class is going to be much better with quarterbacks. So if Ryan Tannehill struggles, we'll definitely see Malik Willis, which means we'll probably draft a quarterback early next year.
Yeah,
I don't see that happening. I do think Ryan Tannehill is going to play well, and his cap is much more manageable next year. The reason why it's so high is because he restructured to get Julio Jones, who's no longer here. Shout out John Robinson for that.
J-Rob. But with the fluctuation on the offensive front for the Titans, do you think that gives way for the Indianapolis Colts to, either meet or exceed where the Titans are at right now? They've done a lot of solid offseason acquisitions. A lot of people would say their draft was pretty subpar.
Yeah.
I've read some people that said that the Indianapolis Colts draft was probably the second worst in the NFL. And I think I actually saw like a graphic on one of the social media pages. But do you think they have the pieces to really compete and give Tennessee a scare this season?
I don't know. I just don't see the Colts. I don't think they got much better over this offseason. I know it doesn't really matter come playing football games, but on paper it looks bad. But again, paper doesn't matter. I wasn't a huge fan of their draft class. I do think that what's his name? Raymond Bernard. Maybe his name is backwards, but
Bernard Raymond. Yeah.
Bernard Raymond. He's good. He was a person that I wouldn't have minded if the Titans have gotten in the first round, and they got him in the third. But there was a lot of questions about him. I mean, he's only been playing tackle for like a year. He used to be a tight end, and apparently has very short arms for a tackle, so that's concerning. But they got him in the third round, so it's worth a gamble. I mean, that's probably their best pick. And they also got Jelani Woods, tight end for Virginia, who I liked him. He's very athletic, but really raw. So they drafted guys who could have potential, but a lot more bust potential as well. So I don't think the Indianapolis Colts got much better. I still think the Titans are going to win the South.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Titans are still the favorite. They maintained a lot more of their pieces, I feel like, on the more important spots. I do feel like they have the potential replacement in Saffold now.
Yeah.
There's some interesting pieces that are going to need to be kind of shuffled around, but I think that could be said for most of the rosters in the AFC South. Houston specifically, we've got, we drafted an offensive tackle and Kenyon Green. The offensive tackle, Austin DeLucas, I think, from LSU. I mean, basically what you're looking for in any of these people is versatility and hopes that one of them will be able to plug and play and really help your team. So I think that who was it that the Titans selected as an offensive lineman? Freer from Ohio State.
Nicholas
right?
Petit-Frere.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a right tackle. He's all right. Apparently his pass protection is not great, which is, we needed someone that could pass protect. He only let up 2 sacks last year, but he let up a lot of pressure. And Aiden Hutchinson ate him up last year, which is not good. I mean, that guy was probably one of the better players in the draft, so maybe that's understandable. But we'll see. I think he'll do well. If not, maybe they could put him in at left guard, replace Saffold. But even Saffold's a great run blocker and a great teammate and leader, but he let up a lot of sacks, and he was hurt a lot.
Yeah.
So, again, the same kind of deal as like Julio and AJ. Like, you can match the production from these guys, and we lost big names, but they weren't really producing.
Yeah, it's very true. I think Indianapolis is definitely closing the gap between Tennessee and Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of really all depends on, to me at least, what kind of chemistry Ryan Tannehill has with the new wide receivers. There's a really solid chance that, Robert Woods, who I believe tore his ACL in the playoffs, right? No, he tore his ACL like week 8 or 9.
Yeah, it was in October. So luckily, it was a while ago. So there is a chance he's ready for week 1, which I'm hoping so.
Yeah, I've heard that he should be ready for camp, and that should help a lot with getting timing with RT. But we'll see. Moving on, Lonnie Johnson, the former Kentucky cornerback, drafted by the Houston Texans a couple years ago. Played a little bit of safety, played a little bit of corner. Not really used very well, or maybe to his strengths. So they traded him for basically peanuts because you couldn't really get rid of him. But traded him to Kansas City for a 7th round pick in 2024. And that's conditional. It's like based on how many snaps he plays over the next 2 seasons or whatever. So they might not even get a 7th round pick. They might have just gotten the cap space. So,
yeah.
But I think that was a move done because the cornerback room was getting crowded. Derek Stingley, Desmond King. We brought in a veteran, Steven Nelson.
Underrated signing. He's pretty good.
Yeah. And I think that they're planning on keeping Desmond King on the slot.
Yeah.
So Derek Stingley and Steven Nelson will be on the outside. And then over top, you'll have Petrie filling in where Justin Reed was. And then I guess whoever wins the position battle at the other safety spot. But the secondary for Houston is going to be kind of plus or minus as far as comparatively to last season, because in some places they're improved, in some places maybe a lateral move, and in some others maybe no additions at all.
Yeah, there's
So
a lot of unknowns on your side. 'Cause, I mean, they're so young. I mean, these guys could be amazing. You're great. You have them locked down for 4 years, like Petrie and Stingley. So
right,
it's like this could be good, and they're so cheap on these rookie deals.
yeah. And one of my biggest problems with the draft for Houston is they didn't really address edge rusher. We do have Grenard on the roster, but that's pretty much it.
Is
They
Thomas
did.
Booker? Is he? How is he? Is he an edge rusher or is he just defensive end?
They say that he can play inside and outside, but he's like 6'4", 6'5", 300 pounds.
Oh, that's a big boy. I mean, he can
Yeah,
cut it down, maybe.
exactly. Whereas Grenard from Florida is, like 6'3", 250.
Mhm.
He's a little shiftier. Had definitely his best year as a pro last season.
Yeah, he was
You
amazing
know,
last year.
yeah, he did pretty well when he was in the ball game. So maybe they're hoping that he can take another step forward, and Roy Lopez on the defensive line can take another huge step forward. A 6th-round draft pick out of Rice last season. No, wait, Arizona. Sorry. But yeah, so moving on to the draft classes specifically, who do you think had the best draft in the AFC South, in your opinion?
I know everyone's on the unbiased, but it has to be the Titans. You guys are a close second. I think I have to knock you guys the most for taking Stingley over Gardner. I think they're both good players, but I think Stingley or Sauce Gardner was just like he's one of those guys that's gonna put butts in seats. He's gonna sell some tickets and jerseys.
Yeah.
And I think Houston needed somebody like that. I feel like he's the next Jalen Ramsey. It's hard to pass up Jalen Ramsey. But I think the Titans, just because I think Traylon Burks, he's very pro ready. I mean, he's one of my top receivers in this class, and we got him at 18, which is pretty good. Roger McCreary is a baller. A lot of people hated this pick. I loved it. I think the Titans desperately need a corner. He's a huge upgrade from Jackass Jenkins. I don't trust Caleb Farley. Christian Fulton, he's really good, but he's always hurt. He got eaten up against Deebo Samuel last year. Roger McCreary, he played SEC guys, and he beat up on those Alabama boys. Williams and your guy, Mechie.
Yeah.
And ironically, Roger McCreary today on Ron Slay's show, whatever they're called. 3HL, thank you. He said Mechie was one of his hardest receivers he's ever played against. So there you go. And I love that pick for you guys, by the way.
Yeah. Is there an unsung draft pick in the Titans draft class that you think has really got a chance to be impactful?
I think Kyle Phillips might start week 1, slot receiver out of UCLA. This guy's incredible. He was actually Steve Smith, like the wide receiver for Panthers, Ravens. That was one of his favorite picks in the NFL draft. He said that was one of his favorite receivers. Watching his tape's insane. He's very, very versatile, very, very, very smart, plays great punt returner, kick returner. Dude's just a baller. I think he's going to fit in really well. Chig Okonkwo, the tight end from Maryland, that guy lit up the combine. He was the fastest. He had the fastest 40 in the combine at 4.52, which is faster than Traylon Burks, which is kind of funny. His bench is insane. Shuttle, like he's basically a workout warrior. He kind of put on a show like Jason Pierre-Paul did back in like 2009, where he just like first in every category.
Yeah.
And Theo Jackson,
athlete.
Yeah, just a freak athlete.
Yeah, I've heard that they're planning on using how do you say his name?
Okonkwo.
Heard they're going to use Okonkwo in a similar way to the way they used Jonnu Smith.
Yeah, just gadget guy.
Occasionally handing the ball off, throw him in the flats, throw him a little dink pass over the middle, and give him the opportunity to make somebody miss. So I mean, I think Ryan Tannehill's going to love that. For me, the best draft class, I guess just so we don't have the same opinion, I'm going to have to go with the Texans, and you can see my bias.
You're like, it's really even. I feel like if you polled 50 people, it's going to be, a 26-24 result. Because you guys got some steals. Like, you guys got very talented players in the first 2 rounds. Really all of them. I love yours. Damien Pierce, which we talked about him going to Houston many times on our show. And it happened. He's a great fit there.
Yeah. He's going to be a bruising running back.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it.
No, I cannot wait to see what he can do in the NFL. I hope he doesn't pull another like a Donta Foreman when we drafted him. He shined so hard in a game his rookie year, and then I had like a 33-yard touchdown run and tore his Achilles, like on the touchdown run.
Awesome.
And then we didn't see him ever again, and then he ended up getting cut, going to Indy, and then going to you guys.
Yeah, he's an AFC South whore. That's what he is.
Oh yeah, and now he's what, in Carolina?
Yep, he's
Waiting
probably
for
going to start
McCaffrey to get
there
hurt.
whenever McCaffrey gets hurt in preseason.
Inevitably.
Yeah,
I think he gets hurt because it's just used too much. But anyway,
I think so too. But man, when you're that good, like how can you not use him? But he's one of those guys that just kind of burned out in college because he was putting up like video game numbers in college. I didn't think he'd be that great in the NFL because I thought this would happen. I didn't expect him to be this good in the NFL whenever he is healthy, but McCaffrey's something else.
yeah. Now Jacksonville had on NFL.com they gave them a B plus. I think a lot of people romanticize Walker, the first overall pick.
This guy's an idiot, man. He's terrible.
Yeah, no, he's really.
Did Maurice Jones-Drew, is he the one that graded them on NFL.com? Like, what's up with this?
I don't remember who it was. I should have taken the name down and given him credit appropriately, but the list didn't make much sense to me. How Jacksonville got a B plus is beyond me. But if there's one team in our entire conference, maybe the league, that could screw up a B plus draft, it would be the Jaguars.
Always get the wrong guys.
But they don't live in the cellar on this as far as draft class grades go. That belongs to Indianapolis, where they are given a hefty C. Arguably the worst draft class in the NFL, according to the NFL.
Them in Seattle, right?
Yeah, Seattle has like a C minus or a C plus or something. I can't. There's some sort of. It's not just a regular C. It's C and another symbol.
Yeah, C extra.
Yeah, C and some. C something. So Indianapolis and Seattle. By the way, Seattle needed a quarterback. I don't even know if they took one.
I don't think they did either. There's like, fuck it, we got Drew Lock, so run it back.
Exactly.
6-11, son. Let's go.
They're like, bro, we didn't trade Russell Wilson. We traded for Drew Lock.
Like, we want to win games. We're gonna roll with Lock.
That's a lot, bro. So some things I'm looking forward to in the coming days is all of the undrafted free agent signings. And when big ones come our way, we might go ahead and make a couple videos between now and next Thursday to kind of talk about who those people are a little bit, shed some light on whether or not they are actually worth anything, I guess. And then, But Blake, we're coming to the end here. Do you have any closing remarks?
No, but I do have a quick question for you while you brought up that, which I think we should at least go over some of these undrafted guys. I don't remember his name, but the Titans signed a guy who got shot in the face last year and didn't miss any games.
What?
So, yeah, I think he's an Ohio State guy. I could be wrong. We
Sounds
drafted
like an Ohio State kid.
Yeah, apparently he was breaking up a fight between a man and a woman, and someone shot his ass in the face. It went right through his mouth, and he didn't miss any games. So I hope that guy makes it.
That guy's gonna live on in folklore forever.
Yeah, he could be like an Isaiah Wilson. I don't know. I don't know anything about the guy. I can't remember his name, but there might be a reason he went undrafted.
Well, maybe in one of our shorter videos, we'll dig up who this guy is, and we'll have a lot more to talk about there. Mm-hmm. But I don't really have anything else for this episode. So, Blake, if you got anything else you want to say?
I do just want to clown the Colts real quick for drafting Alec Pierce with their first pick. That's just kind of funny to me.
Alec Pierce?
That was a wide receiver from Cincinnati that they drafted.
Oh yeah, all right.
I was like, man, maybe the Colts are gonna get someone good because there's a lot of good players on the board, and then they got Alec Pierce. I'm like, wasn't he supposed to go round 4? Like, you don't take a white receiver with your first pick. Like, that's a terrible option.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp was like a 5th rounder. Like, come on, Alec.
It's all right. The Colts are notorious for screwing up careers as well.
Yeah, they wanted to name Austin Collie or some shit.
Shit. Shouts to Andrew Luck.
Rest
Anyway.
in peace.
This has been this AFC South show. I'm your host, Curtis Brown. With me, as always, Blake Bellamy. Like and subscribe, and be good people.
Yes, sir.